What I want to come and talk to you about today is about Tennessee's estate and gift tax. And just for background, Tennessee does have a gift tax, and that it shares with one other state, Connecticut. There are only two states with a gift tax, Tennessee and Connecticut. All the other 48 states have no gift tax whatsoever. So we're really singular in that. Tennessee also has an estate tax or inheritance tax, or what some people call a death tax. And there are only 18 other states now that have a death tax or inheritance tax or an estate tax. So we are really in a minority of states that have it. And just to give you a sense of the size of Tennessee's gift tax, and I'll do that first, is that we had federal legislation a little bit over a year ago when the Republicans took control of the House, federal legislation, where they extended all the Bush-era tax cuts. All of you are aware of this extension of the Bush-era tax cuts. They extended all those tax cuts with one exception, and that was the federal estate tax. Now, what they did was they did extend an advantage to the federal estate tax, but it wasn't the full extension of what had been, which was a zero estate tax. What they did was they extended the rate to 35% over the next 2 years, and they also raised the individual lifetime exemption from a little bit over $1 million to $5 million. So right now on a federal level, you can give to your children or to anyone else you want to once in a lifetime gift of $5 million without having it been subject to the federal estate tax. If you were to do that and you happen to be a citizen of Tennessee as opposed to any other state, you would not be exempt from Tennessee's gift tax, which, remember, there are only two states that have it, Connecticut and Tennessee. You would get the annual exemption of $13,000, so you would have to pay the gift tax on $4,987,000 in Tennessee and in Tennessee alone. And that would amount to a gift tax here in Tennessee of $462,000 for any individual who gives the lifetime exemption on a federal level. I mean, that is enormously discriminatory against Tennessee and obviously motivates people to move. When you look at incentives, and let me just talk to you broadly about incentives. There are two types of incentives in this world. They're positive and they're negative. By way of illustration, if you feed a dog, you know exactly where the dog will be. If, on the other hand, you beat a dog, you know where the dog won't be. It won't be where you gave it the beating, but you have no idea which direction it's going to run. It's just going to go. The gift tax, the estate tax in Tennessee is like beating. You know what people will not do. They will not report the taxable income for the estate or the gift tax, but you don't know how they won't do it. They can hire lawyers and accountants and deferred income specialists and all these other people to try to get around the law, or they can actually move and go to a different location, or they can squander the resources. I mean, they can go to Vegas, they can carouse, they can gamble, they can drink, and they can smoke. As far as they're concerned, that's fine. Those expenditures are not subject to the tax in Tennessee. But if they save those monies and provide them for their kids and their grandchildren, they'll be hit with this gift and with the estate tax. It really makes no sense whatsoever. What you want to have in a tax code is you want the lowest possible rate on the broadest possible tax base. Thereby providing people with the least incentives to evade, avoid, or otherwise not report taxable income, number one. And number two, having a broad tax base gives people the least places to which they can hide in order to escape the taxation. You want a low-rate, broad-based tax. The gift and estate tax in Tennessee is the antithesis of good tax policy. It is a very high tax rate on a very, very narrow tax base. And let me tell you, there are consequences. We are driving out those people who are wealthy. They are taking their homes with them, their jobs with them, their businesses with them, their lifestyles with them, and it is having an enormously deleterious effect on the state of Tennessee. Now, just so you know, these numbers are not big numbers for state and local tax revenues. If you look at the total tax receipts from the gift and estate tax in any 1 year, it's less than 1% of all taxes. I mean, it's really a rounding error on all of these numbers, yet it causes enormous damage. It is amazing how a very ill-conceived tax can have huge damage to a state and yet not collect any revenue, and that is the exact example we have here in Tennessee. It is costing us huge amounts of jobs, employment, and production. And ultimately, it's costing us enormous amounts of tax revenues as well. we would have a lot more jobs, a lot more output, a lot more production. So no matter how you slice and dice the numbers, there is no question whatsoever that if we got rid of the gift and estate tax, not only would we not lose money, we would make enormous amounts of revenue in here, because these wonderful, wonderful people wouldn't leave the state. They'd keep their houses here. They'd keep their jobs here. They'd keep their employment here. They'd keep all of this here, and Tennessee would benefit enormously. This is the single most immoral tax. I've been working with taxes, as you know, with the real President Reagan, with all the presidents basically for years, and this is the single worst, most discriminatory tax I've ever seen. And it's really unpopular. And let's see if we can't get rid of this. It's really important for your children, for your grandchildren, for the people of Tennessee. We've got to do it, and do it now. And it's not going to cost us any money. We're going to get more money as a result, not less. Thank you very much for all the help you've given us.